Hi, this is Carrie, and this is my fishing quest. And one of the first things you need to figure out is what kind of rod and reel combination do you want? And there's a handful of choices out there, but these days it really comes down to a spinning reel or a bait casting reel. And they both have their pros and cons. I think for most people starting off, a spinning rod and reel, which is going to be like this, your typical spinning reel, is going to be kind of the go-to for most people. And it's simply because I'm actually in the water, so I got to check it. It's because it's going to be easier to get started with. Bait casters they're great and they have some neat advantages, but there's some downsides that I think most people aren't aware of. And namely, they take probably a little bit more skill to figure out how to use properly. And while they seem at first like they're going to be easier, one of the problems is in casting them, it's very common to just get a big mess of line inside the reel. It's called backlash. If you really don't know how to use one properly or have a lot of experience with them, that can happen pretty often. And I know some total professional anglers, they're out there every single day, they're in tournaments, and even they will say, yeah, it probably happens at least once a day. And that's just something to be aware of. Spinning casters or spinning reels like this, sure, they can run into problems, and we'll talk about some of those problems at some point, but those problems are generally easier to fix and they're easier to avoid if you just are a little bit careful. So a spinning reel is going to be probably your better bet. Another thing to consider with bait casters is you buy them in either right or left-handed. So if you are always using right-handed and you have someone with you and they want to use left-handed, you can't just take the handle and move it to the other side like you can with a spinning reel. Those are very easy. Just spin it backwards, take the handle off, put it on the other side, and you're good to go. So for, a rod reel that may get moved between right and left-handed people, a spinning reel is the only way to go because a bait caster can't do that. There's just too much mechanism in there. Now, in terms of actually fishing, a spinning reel can cast lighter baits. There's very little resistance when the line is coming off of this spool here and spooling out, so you can cast lighter stuff. With a bait caster, it's kind of like a miniature winch. So as it's pulling out, it's having to spin the reel that's in there to let the line go. So you need heavier baits if you're going to do that, or lures. So you're not going to cast super lightweight things with a bait casting reel like you can with a spinning reel. Now, the advantage of bait casters is when you get good at using them, you can have extreme accuracy. I mean, I've seen guys who can just drop it right exactly where they want every single time. Now, you can get good, you can get very good actually with accuracy with a spinning reel. It's just not quite as easy to do than a bait caster. So there's pros and cons to both. Price-wise, you're probably going to find better deals on spinning reels than you will at bait casters, simply because they're easier to manufacture. There's more of them out there. There's a wider variety. So think about, what is it that you want to do? What's your level of experience? How much effort do you want to put into it to decide which one you want to get? So at first I was going to get new bait casting stuff, and then after really looking into it, talking to other people, I decided I should stick with a spinning reel as kind of my go-to as I'm getting back into the sport. So that's why I went with a spinning reel. Now, this combo here, this is a pretty decent combo here. It's a medium lightweight, good action, nice spinning reel. This is all Shields brand, which is a sporting goods store we have here in Colorado. I'm not sure where else they're at, but here that's kind of their brand, and it's all good quality stuff. So I probably spent $150 on this setup. You can buy really cheap ones. You can buy very, very expensive ones. They're all over the map. So that's kind of my take on spinning versus bait casting. I prefer the spinning reel. At some point, I may get a Baitcaster just to start playing with it, to play with accuracy, to just see what the difference is. But for the fishing that I'm doing today, which is mostly here in these ponds and lakes around Colorado, I just really don't need any of the benefits that a Baitcaster has. I'm going to be perfectly fine with a spinning reel. So spinning reels versus Baitcasters, let me know in the comments what you prefer and why, and if there's a big benefit to the Baitcasters that I'm really not mentioning, let me know, and we'll continue our fishing quest together. Thanks for watching. This has been Kerry. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.